that people that are spiritual have some sort of understanding of the world and what it is, and it doesn't matter what your affiliation is. Narrative inquiry is something that really looks at reflection and introspection, and adults learn well when they're given time to think about what went right and what went wrong, and then also what they need to learn as well. So, critical perspectives. When you hear the word critical in a graduate class, it basically means that we're looking at, it doesn't mean that we're looking at something critically, it means that we're looking at population and people critically. So most of the current work on adult learning looks at race and gender. And we argue that we do whatever the dominant culture asks us to do. If we have a person in power, we're going to do and act the way that that person in power acts. And certain people relate better to different genders and different races. I, as an adult learner, I've naturally preferred having women as bosses. I've done much better in my life and my career having a woman as a boss than a man. I don't know why. I think it's part of who I am, part of my just mentality and perception. I don't do well with a good old boy system of learning. I work better with women, I learn better from women. So for me, my perspective on adult learning, I prefer a woman as a leader than I do a man. That's just me. Other people might feel differently. But I think it's important that you know who you are and how you learn better as an adult, and realize that you're going to have teachers in your building that feel the same way. Teachers are adult learners. One of the things that hurts is that we tell teachers individualized instruction for our students, but then we do things like streamline professional development. So the adults lose in the end because we're streamlining professional development and we're hurting them. And it hurts them more than it helps them. So professional development has to be reflective and beneficial for the population you're serving. If it's not, then you're doing something wrong. Teachers are adult learners, and you have to make sure that you streamline professional development in a way that can be differentiated based on their learning styles. So we have 4 pillars of teacher learning. One of the things that you need to do is give teachers opportunities to serve in leadership roles. That's the point of the capture text when we start to look at that. We need collegial inquiry. That's the point of the professional learning community. We need mentoring. If we're going to put teachers in charge of something, we need to tell them how to do it and give them experience with it and tell them what they're doing right and wrong. But then we also have to encourage them to team with colleagues within and outside of schools. I'm of this belief that educators only think about education in terms of what their district is doing, what their building is doing, and what their university is doing. And if you look outside and you look at a more global perspective of what other schools are doing, it's only going to make you stronger as a principal and as a leader. Your district might be a great district. You might plan on staying in that district for the rest of your life, but you need to know what the neighboring districts are doing. Just like me as a professor, I need to know what's going on at different universities. I become effective if I know what's going on at a different school. So as a principal, you want to integrate all of these into your roles. And if you can, you're going to be an effective principal. So we're going to look at the 5 subtopics of adult development. I don't want to overwhelm you with the theory. I would rather relate these to schools. If this is something you want to look at for a potential master's thesis or dissertation, that's cool. But we're going to talk about each one of these: stage development, life cycle development, transition events, role development, and sociocultural influences a little at a time. So stage theory basically notes that teaching is mechanical. If we give teachers more autonomy, there are more challenges because there are more demands. So if we use stage theory, we're going to tell ourselves that teachers really should not be making major decisions, and we should tell them what their practice looks like. I would argue that we're moving out of this in the United States, but we're actually moving into administrator stage theory more than anything else, because we're making administrators' roles very mechanical in nature. But you can visit that and you can look at that in the textbook if you want to. Life cycle development of teachers, I could not agree with this more. I believe in this 1,000%. We have early career teachers who want to change the world. They are ambitious. They are looking for happiness. Mid-career teachers, they have it. They know what they need and they know what they want, and they don't exactly like people telling them what to do. They are confident in their abilities to teach. Or, as I say, they're horrible and they haven't been fired yet. Your late career teachers think they are still relevant and are very much set in their ways, and they don't want to change it. My belief is this: there are 10% of your late career teachers that are better than all of your early career and your mid-career teachers. These are the ones that are lifelong learners that have changed and are using previous experience to better their instruction. The other 90% of your late career teachers are highly, highly, highly ineffective. But your 10% that are strong, they're the ones that you need to influence your mid-career teachers and early career teachers, but you have to separate them from the other majority of them that aren't effective as late career teachers. So transition effects, transition events affect people differently. Some that happen are marriage, birth of a child, divorce, death of a loved one. Professionally, they could be promotion and tenure, entering into a new title, getting a new boss. But transition events for adults take a lot longer to adjust to. And you have to know that when you're supervising somebody. If you're supervising a teacher that is going through a nasty divorce, you would say, well, they should be able to separate that, but you know and I know their ability to separate might not happen. But that's a common personal occurrence. Supervisors have to be cognizant of both of these. If you are a new principal, don't change the system. Step in, learn the people, let people adjust to you first. It's the dumbest thing that a new principal can do, because you have to know what kind of transitions people are experiencing and what that looks like. The theory of role development. People do better at work when their personal lives are going great and vice versa. If you are having an amazing personal life and life is wonderful, your job and your work is going to be awesome. When school systems are not concerned with personal lives, this can be a problem. You have to be, because people learn through experiences, and when their personal life is going good, they're going to be a lot more effective as a teacher. So, I think sociocultural context is true. I don't like the way that the book frames it. The book notes that sense of connectedness and affiliation with others is crucial to women, but not much to men. I disagree with this, because as a male, I believe in connectedness and affiliation with others. I will work effectively if I feel like I'm on a team and working with the right people. If I don't, and I have conflict with other team members, I don't work effectively and my work suffers. But I'm one of those males that I think I need that type of connection. Some do, some don't, but our theory would tell us that the connectedness and affiliation is really more for women than it is for men. I don't know. I'll let you interpret that on your own. So, different races need to be supervised than others. That's another part of this theory. I don't necessarily agree with this either, but we're presenting it. Different cultural norms are conveyed for different races, and you have to supervise them in terms of that as well. So, my question for those of you that are going to be working in urban environments, do you segregate supervision and only individuals of a certain race should supervise their own race? Or do you segregate by gender? Do you do this? Is this appropriate? Once again, I don't have an answer or an opinion on this, but it's a theory, and it's something that you may want to consider. Finally, I do note that the book says that these beliefs ebb and flow over time. Adult learning theory is constantly changing, and consider the discussion that we had on these topics today, and you can determine on your own whether you think it's effective or not. So our next Glickman chapter is chapter 5, and now we're getting into the different models of supervision. There are going to be 4 models of supervision that is going to be the emphasis of everything that we do in this class. Myself and my colleague Dr. Kathy Curry, who you'll get to meet eventually, both of us used the Glickman supervision model when we were studying how teachers teach in Vietnam. So I'm very passionate about the upcoming chapters and the work that we're going to be doing in them. So that's it. If there's anything else that I can do to help, and there's anything that I can do to help you as we move forward, please let me know. Thank you.